Now we have the variable. Variable are the most important when we are writing a code in any language. It could be C, Java, Python, any other language. How you are going to define a variable. There are certain rules available for each language, how you are going to define the variable. Like if you want to create a variable, there is no command available in Python. Just like in other language, if you want to, we have to define the data type also for a variable. Like if it's going to be integer type, float type, or string type, we have to define the data type first, and then we have to put the value or assign the value to the particular variable. So that's how it's done in other language. But in Python, that is the main features available with Python. Variables are dynamically typed. You don't need to explicitly define or mention the data type. So just like for x value, we are assigning the 5 value. So it will take as a integer value. And for this 5, we are assigning the zone, uh, the string value. So it will understand that you don't need to specifically write like string, then y, and then declare the y value. That's not required in the Python. And how, like, you have defined the variable, and how you will come to know what is the data type used for that Python, for that particular variable by Python. So we can use the type functions for these features. When we are going to use the type functions, it will help us to understand what was the data type given by Python for this x variable and what is the data type given for y variable. We can check explicitly if you want to check like what is the data type used for this variable. That is the way they can use the type functions to check the particular value. Python is case sensitive. If you are going to use the same variable, same value like we are using we are assigning the for value to lowercase a, so it will treat as a different variable, and we are using the uppercase a, so that will also treat as a new value. That's how we can say like Python is a case sensitive. It will not be overwritten like first we are assigning for and then we are assigning a string value. It will not be overwrite. A lowercase a and uppercase a will be considered as a separate two variables. So that is the one thing we have to make whenever we are going to define a variable in Python. We have to make sure that Python is case sensitive, so that your values are not overwritten or you are not confusing with the lowercase or uppercase variable names, because it will be treated as different variables. If it is not defined earlier, then Python will create a new variable with a new name. Okay. Now, when I was saying like there are certain rules available for Python in Python when for declaring the variable. So it should be like you can use any character, alphanumeric characters or the special underscore characters. So you can't use any special character, or you can't start a variable name with a numeric. It should be starting with the alphabetic characters only. And in Python, variable names are case sensitive. See, we are using age, is, and is. These three will be treated as different three variables, not as the single one. You can't start a variable name with a number. It should be always started with the alphabet. Either it could be in lowercase or uppercase, but it must start with the alphabet. Okay. So in Python, we have a features available. We can assign multiple values to variable in a single line. We don't need to write different lines for assigning a variable. Just like if you see here, we are declaring three variables here, x, y, z, and we are assigning the different values also, and we can assign the same values also if we want to, like, just we want to keep orange only and we want to assign to all three variables same value. So this can also be done. But if you're using comma and separated by comma and passing three values, then all three different values will be assigned to different variables. So this is the way to assign a values to a variable. You can assign many values to multiple variables. You can assign one value also to multiple variables. Okay. Now this is like you are defining the variable, but if you want to, this is the way of input, giving the input to a variable. How we are going to get the output? What is the value assigned to a particular variable? So we have the print functions. That is like in other language we can use printf also and print also. In Python, this is available is print only. So if you want to check like what is the value assigned to x, you can just simply use the print function and then pass the variable name. This is like how we are going to print the value of a single variable. We can just separate it by a comma and we can print the value of multiple variables as well. And there is one more thing, when we can use the operators also in the print statement. You don't need to, like in other language, what we used to do when we are defining a variable. Uh, like these three variables are defined. If we want to sum these variable or we want to add multiply or something, we have to declare another variable and then we need to perform that operation so that the value can be assigned to the new variable. But this can be done in Python directly in the print statement also. You can use the operator you want.